Lloyd Vehicle Consulting, not sponsored by Lancaster Insurance. Good morning. Today is still the 18th of March, and this is the Practical Classics Classic Car and Restoration Show, although I'm just going to call it the Practical Classics Restoration Show at the NEC in Birmingham. We've had part 1 of the Slightly Shambolic Shuffle, and we're now on to part 2. Part 1 will be linked in the description below. First of all, we'll have a look at this 1964 Jaguary Type. It's on the Peter S. Taylor and Company Insurance Specialist stand. Like a lot of these types, it's had replacement seats put in. The one I drove in 2020 certainly had that, but this one is absolutely immaculate. I think this is an original 3.8 litre as well. I wouldn't be doing my job properly if I didn't walk over to the joint HubNut Furious Driving and idriveaclassic Classic stand. It was supposed to be the Morris Marina that was here. It was going to be driven back from Retromobile in Paris, but there was some problems that Steph had. So this is a car that belongs to a friend of hers. Facelifted Mark Vb Escort Cavalier. It's quite a late one because it's got the driver's airbag in it, so it didn't come on the very early facelifted Mark Vb to this level. It's a 1.8 LS with the fuel injection. I've actually got a review of a Mark Vb Cavalier on my own channel, in addition to one that Steph has done, but this car's actually made it. I think she got a flight to Newcastle or something like that to pick this car up from France, so it's a bit crazy. Once again, Mr. Seabrook has brought the Ford Fairmont. It's funny that both these cars are both imported, both Fords, and on 51 plates, both done of course by their new owners. See, many of you have seen this car before. Probably the first time some of you have seen this car in a video that's not a Furious Driving one. I've seen this one before, of course, as well. At first place I saw it, I think, was Brooklands last August. But they are really, really big cars. You know, the Crown Victoria is even larger. I'm hoping at some point I'll get to go in this. I have asked Mr. Richardson if I can have a go, and of course there he is, wearing his hat. He's very kindly letting me store my stuff in the boot of his car for the show, so that I don't have to haul everything around. But yes, the plate, people have been talking about, you know, why is it GM on a Ford? It's just because the area code for Maidstone, which would be the local registration office in late 2001 when this car was made, well, it's a 2002 model. It's G is the area, GM is Maidstone, and 51 is the right range, September 2001 to February 2002. My mother's Mercedes was also registered in Maidstone, so that's just the way it turns out, and that's just what they give you. You can see that there's plenty of merchandise and things here, and there's Mr. Seabrook as well. Ford Sierra RS Cosworth, I don't think this is a 500. 1980-67 plate. I think they started actually registered them in 87, so I could be wrong, but it is £80,000. It's very, very nice. That's why it is. And look at that. I would like to try one of these at some point, viewers, but like if it's £80,000, I'm not sure I'd get the right insurance cover for it. Likewise, this BMW 3-litre CSL, £150,000. And there is a reason for that, because it's very, very nice. So it's not quite ready. There are some things to do, but it's a 72. This is a Mondial QV. It's actually the cheapest one of the three, would you believe? At £60,000. 485 plate on this one. It's not quite the one that Magnum PI drove. It's a 308, and it's got a beige leather interior. Do like a nice beige leather interior, viewers. Really do. Let's just stay within the confines of this particular hall for now, because we're in Hall 3A. Hall 4 will venture into a bit later, but we'll finish off the hall where we are by looking at some minis, very early ones. This is an Austin, be from 1964, and this one's a Morris. You can see, excellent. That's a 66. You can see the difference in the grills. Austin's always had a wavy grill. So both Mark 1s, Mark 2 came in, I think it was 1967. Both in need of a little bit of tender loving care. This is a DKW 1000 or 3 equals 6 or whatever. I get confused about different DKW models, viewers, but this one's actually not original anymore anyway. It's not got the old 2-stroke engine in it. It's not got the original spec interior, I don't think, either. It's been modified a little bit, and it's now got an electric conversion from a Nissan Leaf. It's probably a little bit more reliable than the original one. I don't know what year it is, because it's kind of not on the suffix plate. Come back to the short Volkswagen a bit later, because I have to have a look at this David Brown Speedback, I think it is. Is it David Brown Speedback, or is it something else? No, it's a BE Vantage. So what is this based on then? What's the basis of this? It's an Aston Martin style car. This car has been sold. You can secure your build slot for late 2022. I must admit, viewers, I do quite like it. Wow, it's even got parking sensors, which you're going to need because the rear visibility looks a little bit limited. Got some classic Range Rovers here. This is what Range Rover looks like without all the ancillaries on it. You obviously take the body shell off if you want to as well. This is a relatively early one. And this is an LSE, so later one. I think this is on an L plate, so about 1994. It's still a hard dash though, so it's not the very last one. LSE was like a test bed for the P38, which came a little bit later, but they were sold side by side for I think about a year. Oh, it's for sale. Ask Paul. Paul obviously knows everything. The first is quite nice, that. Now, these are probably replicas, I think. Yes, they are. An L wouldn't be the right year for one of these anyway. What that's based on? Yeah, 72, 73 plate. And then this is a very new GT40 replica. Yeah, it's Mark 1 by Tornado, registered 2020, so it's actually the correct year for that. And this is some kind of like a Cobra on a 58 plate. Don't know what the make of that is. DAX or something? I don't know. Perhaps I'd have to look it up actually on the MOT check or something. What have we got here? Griffiths Imports. Very nice. Mark Vb Escort RS 2000. Interesting colours on this. Left-hand drive, I don't know where that's come from. Probably knowing Mark Vb Escorts will probably be increasing in value by the day. It's modified Morris Mini. I think this is a Mark. Yeah, it's a Mark II, I think, by those. Yeah, it actually says a Mark II. Mark II by those rear lamps, and also the fact it's still got the sort of household style doors on it. Very nice, that. Another Mark II Escort, again left-hand drive. It's This is one's a 1.6. This is probably a GL or GL. I don't know, viewers. You have to tell me in the comment section below. My phone just has a rubber case on it, so if I get touched like that, there we go. See a bit better. It's can't damage anything because there's a rubber case on it. Just for your information, because people sometimes ask me about that. Ooh, Practical Classics Restorer of the Year. Mark II Volkswagen Golf GTI 5-door. This is an earlier one, a 8687 plate. Still got the wipers around the wrong way, because that's how they sold them for quite a long time. They didn't really care about us, seemingly. Just an 8-valve version, but very, very nice. Early Lotus Elise on an R plate to be something like 97, 98. I'd love to have a go at one of these at some point, viewers. I very much would like to have a go if I'd actually get in. An Opel Manta. Yes. 1980 to 81 plate. And it's got the 3-litre, I think this is a cam-in head engine in it. It's the engine it always should have had, really, but I don't think that they ever actually came as standard with this 3-litre in them. I think the maximum was a 2-litre. It's even got its own merchandise in the back. Porsche 914. I can't remember if these were ever sold in right-hand drive over here. I do forget about these things, viewers. Badged in some markets as a Volkswagen Porsche. 71, 72 plate on this. A Marina with no door handles. You can see where someone's actually, you can't see on the video very well, but you can actually see in real life those door handles have been filled in. It's not quite, you know, what I would personally put into one of these, but I bet this is really fast. T16 turbo, 73. Series 1 Land Rover. It's a very early one, this. Series 1 Pilot, okay, and it's got obviously optional things that have been taken off. You don't obviously need too much. You just need a tiny, tiny little wiper that actually protrudes onto the centre divide of the screen. Obviously, it has to be that colour because that's compulsory, really, for Series 1 Land Rovers. Is this an MGTA? Yes, it is. It's about, I think, 38. These current 38. There's MGTA and TB. TB was made, I think, only in 39. Not an awful lot of room in there. You have to sort of jump over the side and heroically slide your legs under, like Patrick McNee used to do in the Avengers. What do we have here? Is that an Austin-Healey? Yes, it is, viewers. And it's quite a nice one too. I remember her classic cars. I've seen her stand at many shows before. So this is a 3000 Mark III BJ8 from 1964 with overdrive and bumper delete. (1956) Daimler Conquest Century drop-head coupe by Car Bodies. Wow, this is like the pre-Jaguar era of Daimler. Isn't that lovely? I must confess, I don't know an awful lot about these cars, viewers. We don't know much about them at all. Just going to swap hands for a second. There we go. Typical kind of 50s styling. This is, I think, when the Dockers owned Daimler, and they were very flamboyant people. Is this a 1969 Daimler Sovereign? That is very nice. Yes, 69 Daimler Sovereign 420. One of the many cars sort of based on the S-Type platform, but this, I think, the Jaguar 420, I think it was called, rather than 420G. They had a different front end, and this one is the specification that I like the best. Dark green with a beige leather interior, and it's automatic too. And we've got wood. I do like a nice beige leather interior, viewers, as many of you will know. That is really tempting me, viewers. I've always preferred Daimlers over Jaguars myself. It's just the way that it is, and I've got power steering as well. I'm going to have to just leave. I'll get too excited. 2006 Jaguar S-Type R. Bet that's fast. Excuse me. Ooh, quite an early XJS V12 Cabriolet, 1986. Is this similar to the type that Princess Diana had? Maybe it is. I don't know. You have to tell me in the comments section below, viewers. That's what you'll have to do. Jaguar parking, yes indeed. And I do like Jaguar interiors, viewers. Wow. This looks very, very unique. And that steering wheel definitely isn't original. Neither of these seats. This looks like a custom job on a 3.8 Mark II. So it's a Vicarage Mark II 2-door drop head. Built for and owned by Noel Gallagher. Minimal mileage since build. So it's a 67, but that plate is a bit older than that. Wow, the conversion was done about 97. Oh, and we've got an X-Type here. Rather like the one that I filmed on No Budget Reviews 2 years ago. Yeah, March 2020 I filmed that. This is an early one. But this is a 3 litre. The one I filmed was a 2 litre. This is probably a bit of a higher spec for the one I filmed as well. Yeah, it's got the climate control. The one I filmed said airtime and aircon. But look at this beige leather interior, viewers. I really want to touch it and feel the leather, but I can't. I'm just going to walk away. And that was only done 22,000 miles. This Jaguar Mark V 3.5 litre drop head coupe with another beige leather interior and wood and the stubbiest little gear lever in the entire world. That's strange. Oh well. But yes, we do like this sort of thing. We do like it very much. Massive hood irons, and real hood irons as well. Very nice. This isn't an M3, it's an E46 3 Series convertible. It's probably like a 330 or something like that, I imagine. Something like that. Grey leather. Wonder if Mr. Woollard from the Max Beamer channel like it. It's 320 actually. It's a manual. That's interesting. Supplied originally from Jersey. Wow. It's only done 31,000 miles. It's not bad, viewers. It's not bad at all. The thing about Devonshire Motor Company, and I pointed this out in November at Classic Car Show, is quite a lot of these cars I just don't really consider the sort of things that should really be here. I mean, perhaps this SLK here, which is it's definitely sort of old enough, maybe at 2001, over 20 years old now. But I mean, these are nice, these modern things like this Jaguar. But I just not really sure that these should maybe be here. Still a bit too new and not quite sort of special. I mean, there's a Carver 1 from 2008 around here. That's sort of the sort of thing I expect to see, but not so much of these. This SL though, fantastic. 98 SL320, full service history. Yeah, and of course it's got a very nice beige leather interior, which we do very much like. We do like very nice beige leather interiors. That is. I'll give this one a pass because we've got a Jaguar beige leather interior here as well, and it's in dark blue, which I very much like, viewers. I'm going to have to go and have a nice lie down, aren't I, at some point, because once I get too excited. But I mean, when you've got stuff like this Skoda Octavia here, and also that price of that 58 plate Octavia. Now it is the Elegance. It is an auto, but you know, I source cars for a living for clients. That's what I do, and generally they're quite modest cars like this is, and I think I'd better just put my mouth shut, viewers, and go and have a look at some Austin-Heelys instead. Let's go and have a look at those and maybe I'll calm down. Ooh. It's the, what's this called exactly? Austin-Heeley Mark Registers Club. Brilliant. So here's Frog Eye Sprite. So what year is this then? Doesn't say. This shape was made until 61, so it's between 58 and 61. I don't know if I'm actually going to fit in something like this, viewers. It looks a little bit tight. Certainly the midget I drove last year, that was a Mark III midget from 68, was a bit tight. That looks a bit tight for me too, unfortunately. What about this 3000? It's quite a late one, 66, so I don't know what the model code would be. This BJ8, there we go. Mark III, I think was the last mark on them, and of course they even tell you on the front. Yeah, it's a sort of Birmingham plate, WD. I think it was actually Dudley, but if I remember correctly. Which one's this one then? Oh yeah, it's a BN1. Wow, yes, I actually helped somebody sell a BN1 many years ago, around 2006. It wasn't as nice condition as this BN1 or just Heeley 100, it was the 54. And that's really nice, a classic sort of colour combinations of these. Right, let's nip into the next haul. We've done haul 3H, the first haul, let's go into the next one. Oh, no. Actually, no, we won't, because I just seen something that I saw on the internet. Jeff Buys, I've never actually really watched the Jeff Buys YouTube channel. Jeff Buys Cars it says here. But he did say, I did see this video someone shared on Facebook, that he was bringing this replica 850 Estate, sort of, with sort of touring car livery on it, as well as this 1997 Volvo V70 California. And of course the V70 was the later version of the 850. I don't think it was even a facelift. I think the 850 actually sort of looked like this before they renamed it, if I remember correctly. But yes, I've never seen one of these before, viewers. I've absolutely never seen one. What was the name of the company that made it? It's the California edition. I don't know, that's fake. He's done it himself, hasn't he? Really should actually watch his channel if I wanted to actually find out more about these viewers, shouldn't I? But there we go, that's the California edition. Oh, it's a T5, that would be interesting. Right, let's go into the next haul. I can't promise it will be anything less shambolic, viewers, but there we go, it's just the way it goes on this channel. So yes, this shortened Mark II Golf GTI 8990 plate. I don't know if that's the original engine, it could be a later one actually, to be honest. I don't know, viewers. That old filler cap looks suspiciously too late for it, but the back seat is the front seat. And look at these really old-fashioned dashes that the Mark II's had, even most owners of the time. It's just the way that they were. This Beetles have the same treatment. What? Does that door even actually function? I won't touch it because I'm not really going to touch anything, but it might be a bit difficult for the passenger to get in. Yeah, is it a bifold door? Oh look, it's got electric window switch. It's got it mounted in a massive sort of carpet type material. Again, the back seat is the front seat. Some kind of Baja bugs or something. 67 plate on what I presume was the original Beetle donor car. It's a very prominent exhaust. You'd better be careful when you're reversing that. You don't burn something behind you. What is this? Some kind of customised 911? I don't know what that is. Oh, this. Oh, is that a Smokey and the Bandit kind of era Pontiac Firebird Trans Am? I think so, viewers. 78 TA, so yeah, it's 1 year later. The ones used in the original film were 77 models. There were several of them. This is a little bit later. 6.6 litre V8 under the bonnet with the T-top. It's an auto. Interesting. It looks a reasonably spacious car actually, with this T-bar removed. I don't know why you would leave the panels there when you don't need them. We're in the barn find section here. Better make sure I don't get in the way of this film crew. There's actually proper people here, as opposed to me being just a bit sort of rubbish and stumbling around and getting things wrong. BMW 1800 from 1964, very early one. Wow. Gosh, 2 owners from new. It's been installed for a long time. This is a XJC Series 2. 1975 V12. It's from California. Oh, viewers, that's... oh yes, yes please. 1994 Ford Escort Mark Vb Estate. But hang on, it's got gear badges on the side of it. So what? Why do I always go to these things and the information board turns out to be wrong? So maybe this is a gear with just absolutely all the options on it. But again, the sort of barn find, and look at those sort of figure-hugging seats. I don't know what's on with the lighting in here today, viewers. Obviously awaiting a bit of work, but that's just amazing to sort of see, and it's got the 3 owners. So perhaps it is an SI, we just slap some badges on it. Rover 2600, this is a facelifted SD1. Oxford registration is an 82. I wonder if this is actually owned by Austin Rover themselves. Who knows? I'm not going to get too close, I don't want to disturb all the sort of dust and things that's on it. Wow. 1961 Austin LD Luton van. That supports the registration years. Yes, Sparshats. Sparshats were a big dealer group in the area I'm from, which is Hampshire, so that makes perfect sense. So bodies by Sparshats. Wow. Is this a hearse or something? I think it's a Wolseley. Yeah, it's a Wolseley. 6110 hearse from 1966. It's going to need a bit of work, viewers, I think. It's a tiny bit of work to bring that up to concours standard. And that's what it's all about, though, isn't it? Being a show like this. That's a very, very old Beetle. Tiny little rear window. Do apologise, viewers, again for the lighting conditions in here. This is 54. Wow. It's amazing. (1976) Morris Marina 1.3 Super. So many these here. I just don't normally see this at any sort of show like this. What the basis of this ice cream van is. Oh, of course, it's a Joe at Bradford. My grandparents actually had a Joe at Bradford when my father was young. It would be about that time. Mark Vb Escort. This one's a gear. Unlike the Maestro with the time, this is ES 83. The bumpers actually have some metal in them. And this is a never seen 3-door gear before, ever. I didn't realise they even made one. That's the models, yes, but not the gear. Extremely rare. Wow. Didn't look too bad actually. It was a paint peeling a bit. I mean, these cars were absolutely notorious for corrosion at the time. But it's actually looking alright. That's not too bad. It looks pretty solid. I think actually those are the original plates. Gainsborough TL, so somewhere near Lincoln, I think. Wow, this is a very old minivan. It's starting 60. It's almost like the first year of production. Wow. I mean, it's going to need a bit of work, but wow. And then we've got here. It's got MGP sort of road style type wheels on it, but it won't be an MG of course. It's a Hillman Husky from 1956. We've already seen a couple of Hillman Huskies actually. Already, they were sort of later type, these are Aldax type. So Austin-Healey Sprite, very similar to an MG midget. This is a 66. And again, it's not too bad actually. Just needs a respray. Amazing rust-free condition, I think. To say summary. Purchased in Lower Kingswood. It's in Surrey. It's near where I used to live actually, in Epsom. Just finish off this stand here, viewers, and then we'll call it a day for the second part. We're going to go on to part 3. Is that a real Mark 1 Ford Escort Mexico? If it is, this car would be worth an absolute fortune. 1972 Ford Escort Mexico. Yeah, Mark 1 and Mark 2 Escort, particularly 2-door models like this. Just name your price, really. Typical colour for Mexico as well, like this. Oh, it's an early Allegro. It's an Allegro, not just with a Cortex steering wheel. It's a Cortex steering with fake wood on it. This would be a very early one. It's a 74. Now, I have driven an Allegro with a Cortex steering wheel on it. It's a Super Deluxe, actually. Blaze red, which is sort of orange, really. Owned by Alex from the Alex's Assets channel. If I remember, I'll put a link to that in the description below, but look it up onto the second-hand classics if you want. That looks interesting. Someone's thrown hay all over that. 1972 Ford Cortina Mark III, 4-door. Quite a lowly spec. It's an L, but the owner wanted to make it like a GT. That's a personal plate on there actually as well. That should have a sort of K or L registration, but it doesn't. Oh, Wolseley Land Crab. 1973, Wolseley 6. When I was at primary school, one of my friends' families had one of these. I can't remember if it was this colour or the sort of hearing aid beige colour, but yeah. The car was quite old by then. This would have been about 1990. But there we go. It's amazing. You just hardly see these at all. Not in sort of barn find condition. I think there's just one more car on this stand, so we'll just go and have a look at it. It's a Dodge. Had an accident at some stage. Dodge Sierra. That window, I'm sure, is electrically operated. There's lots of seats in this. Not much upholstery. Lots of seats though. I wonder where this was found. Oh. I wonder if M25 Classics have been sponsoring this. Obviously, it doesn't matter if you stick that on there because that paint's coming up anyway. 1959 Dodge Sierra wagon. Must have picked it up in America. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed for watching part 2 of a Slightly Shambolic Shuffle around the 2022 Practical Classic Car and Restoration show here at the NEC in Birmingham. We will go on to part 3 quite soon, and thank you ever so much indeed once again.